that there's this desire in human beings, very understandable. We want to figure it all out. We spend a lot of life figuring it out, and we spend a lot of time kind of hunkered down. Let me figure this out. And the reality is, we start to get older in life, realize, oh yeah, maybe figuring out is not all that I thought it would be. And it's a paradox, right? That in a way, we get it less and less. We're trying to figure it out less and less. But in the same sense as we do that, we get it more and more. One of those beautiful spiritual paradoxes. So I want to talk a bit about this line from the book Secrets of Heaven, 24:23. Talks a little bit about the human proclivity to need to figure it out. So this is the line. People who desire truth, and I think of that, desire truth, desire to know all the facts, desire to figure it all out, cannot humble themselves enough to acknowledge in a heartfelt way that everything is a gift of mercy. And that's just a beautiful idea. Like, if we really have this idea, we're going to get it all figured out, we will not necessarily be able to see how much of a gift life is. The more meager their desire for truth, the more meager their desire for truth, however, the more meager their desire for truth, the less humility they feel when they mention grace. On the other hand, the stronger a person's response to goodness, the more humility that person feels in mentioning mercy. So, again, that's just some older language. It might be a little hard to sort of parse out there. But I think what it's saying is a pretty basic point, that if we're all about, like, in our heads, figure it out. If we're all in there, we're going to find ourselves with a sort of form of intellectual arrogance, believing that we can do that, and it will all somehow will go to our agenda. We'll figure it out. We'll get plans that move from A to B to C to D. We'll be able to strategize everything. And that's saying, yeah, that's hard. That's a hard place to be intellectually. And then it flips and says, yeah, but if you focus on goodness, if that becomes your endeavor, focus on being loving, and your question becomes, am I being loving? Am I being loving in this situation? Am I being loving in that situation? How can I be a more loving person? That the wisdom part comes from that. The ability to figure it out in a different way comes from that. But it's a much better place where we really do, instead of seeing it all as like God blessing us, which is an intellectual thing, which is a good thing to see, right? But it's like, think of God blesses me because I'm special. Think of it that way. That's not where humility lies. Humility lies in this idea of God's mercy encompasses us all, and that mercy, beautiful definition of it from the Hebrew, is womb-like mother love. I love that idea. So friends, it's kind of looking at this idea that if we're totally into the intellect, we're totally into figuring out, we're totally in our heads, and we believe we're all figured out, like, good luck with that. Probably not going to work a whole that well. And what we'll miss out on is the humility that God can really work with. And it's not humility. Again, it's humility, not humiliation. Those are two very, very different things. And the example I was thinking about this, friends, is, why we can get kind of tripped up. As a history teacher, one of the fascinating aspects of history is that for a long time, for decades and decades, it's like close to 200 years, there was this widely held belief that California was an island. And you can look at old maps of California, and I was trying to put one up on our feed, but was having some tech difficulties doing that. But if you Google like old antique maps, California is an island, it'll come right up. And people were totally married with this idea, like this was the truth as they knew it. And I think so much of life is where we get to the point as we get older, hopefully, where we're curious enough to know, like, oh yeah, I really don't know. Is California an island? I don't know. And to really be humble enough to check that out and to be curious. Because friends, just think of it this way, right? It's all about relationship. That's the be all and end all of life is relationships. And it's not about being right. It's about being in relationship. That doesn't mean that being right doesn't have times when it's important. Obviously it does. But it's always with this bigger view towards being in relationship. And we can't be in relationship if we're not humble. We can't be in relationship if we're not humble. We can't be in relationships if we're not curious. We can't be in relationship, one way to say it, if we don't ask questions. You want to know how it looks on the ground, ask questions of other people. Ask them questions about who's on their heart today. What makes their heart sing? What was the best day of work they ever had? What's the most exciting thing in life these days? I don't know, whatever questions might ask. But But that's the bit, friends. Again, I can't say it enough. We cannot be in relationship unless we have humility. We can't be in relationship with God. We can't be in relationship with each other. Think of it for yourself. How much do you really like hanging out with a know-it-all who's just going to, hold forth when anytime you get together in their presence? Probably not a whole lot. So unless you're codependent, which is a whole nother sermon. So let's for this week, let's just have a week where we embrace the idea of relationship, embrace the idea of curiosity. Let's just take the intellectual approach and think our minds are there and they are terrific servants, but they're never the boss. They're never to be what we primarily are aiming for. They're just a means to an end. They're to help us to get the places that will help us become more and more loving in better and better relationships with God and with our fellow human beings. So there's your thought for today, friends, and I hope that makes a lot of sense. It's a topic I enjoy talking about a great deal because it just is, it just strikes me as just really, really true. And it's, we got a bunch of weddings coming up, a bunch of baptisms, and there's that old thing, do you want to be right or do you want to be married? Or do you want to be right or do you want to be in a relationship? And I think sometimes it is that stark, not all the time, but sometimes it is that stark. So may we have a week finding the humility that will allow us to be in relationship. Yes, and California, by the way, is not an island. So with that, dear friends, what we're going to do is we're going to shift gears. When we shift gears here, we come down for a very gentle, easy landing. And with this gentle and easy landing, what we do is we do a little prayer, a little meditation, and then we do a little blessing, and then we say hi to our friends who join us on Facebook. And again, we get notes from folks literally all over the world. Just had a note from somebody yesterday from South Africa. And obviously they will not be real time, but feel free to leave a comment anytime. We love to hear from those of you who enjoy this little program. So with that, dear friends, let's get a breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you, keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's do a quick little hello here to see if anybody's left a comment this morning. And again, I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. We certainly did have a very nice time. All right, he's a little text a little on the slow side this morning, so my apologies for that. All right, Martha, good morning to you. Rita, good morning, and joining Rita there and saying good morning to everyone. Wonderful to have you joining us. Yeah, this does not want to cooperate at all today. All right, just give me a second here. Okay, let's hop over to our New Church Live page and see if there's any comments over there on Facebook. Yeah, I have no idea why this is going so slow today. Okay, come on, Nelly. All right. Oh, wait, there it is. My apologies, friends, for taking so long. Sherry, good morning to you, my friend. And Marcus, good morning to you. My apologies. That took a long time. So anyhow, wish you folks all the best. God bless me. Have a day filled with